welcome back to the Style Esports Twitch channel. We are live once again, as you can probably tell. Hopefully you got the ping, hopefully you got the messages, you've shown up, you are here. We got Bagels versus Obsidian DeathKnights tonight, going to be casted by yours truly, Mr. Baymax, and of course, Jarl Carl himself as your play-by-play caster. Should be a good time. How's it going, Jarl Carl?
I am doing well. Excited for some League of Legends to be happening here. We got a nice matchup for you all. And getting toward the end of the season here, Season 2 Style Esports, we have the Obsidian DeathKnights, who are 1-8 here in the Demasian division of our league against the Bagels, who are 5-3 in this 10-game season here. So playing for a little bit of style points and maybe a slightly better seed in the playoffs that we do have upcoming here for ODK, and with a perfect finish to the season, a nice 2-0 finish, moving them to 7-3. Bagels could push themselves to the 4th position in the Demasian division. So these teams definitely still playing for something. They're not just here to have some fun, although that is still very important, of course. So
and I don't want no one out there to count out Obsidian DeathKnights. All right, you know what? I'll grant it. I'll grant you. Bagels, they are definitely looking like a stronger team. But Obsidian DeathKnights, they may have only taken one game off anybody this season, but do you know who that game was off of? It was Sand Ninjas, Sand Ninjas are currently in 3rd place, so above Bagels, and Bagels did lose to Sand Ninjas. So, you know what? If ODK can take a game off of Sand Ninjas, then anything is possible. And you know what? What is not possible with a Yasuo Gragas top half of the map? What's not possible? Tell me, Jarl Carl, because that's what these guys got locked in.
I got nothing. It's a pretty strong combo. I mean, maybe like hard tank, don't have a lot of that, but Yasuo gets a shield when he ults, so it's really a perfect combo. And we got the Galio for the knockup. I got a Spidey sense. There's going to be a Braum support, so
and
that
by
also
Spidey sense, he means this was pro drafted. So
yeah. But now that you're revealing all our broadcast secrets here, moving into the second round of bans.
The people have a right to know that it was pro drafted, Carl. I will stand by my decision.
We're all about transparency here at Style Esports. So, bit of a Lucian Braum against Zyrakan here in the bot lane. A little preview for you guys. So definitely a pretty big wombo combo coming through for ODK in this game.
Can I get a little love? I'm out here fighting for your rights. The tyrant Jarl Carl is trying to take away your right to know that it was pro drafted. I fight for you. I'm with the people. I'm here for it, and I'm also here for the Zyrakan. That's a good bot lane.
It's a pretty strong bot lane. I was commenting to Baymax before the stream that I kind of got blasted on it when I played it the other day. I thought it wasn't too good, and Baymax just told me it was operator error. So
well, that's not what I said. I said, "Are you
guess
sure?"
I'm just boosted.
I said, "Have you ruled out operator error?" That's what I said.
Yeah. Well, I had not ruled out operator error. I'm sure that was it. Not the best Zaya that I have seen. I have won 12 games in a row though in flex, which kind of doesn't count, but it's still pretty exciting.
Why are you complaining about it then? What's wrong with
I played Lucian Braum. With my support friend. So
okay.
Yeah, I got money on Lucian Braum here. It should be a winning lane. I think it's super OP. But
the lane is really good.
Yeah.
Braum is good because it stops Rakan engage shenanigans. But Rakan is good because it's I don't know, it's hard to punish. It's just so good.
It's very
everything.
Solid.
Like it just there's nothing that it's bad at, right? Like you can play back and you can scale and you can just go for last hits and play safe. You can shove early, look to get aggressive. You have all-in potential with Rakan, but you have great disengage as well. If they try to go on you, it's really hard to dive a Rakan. They're just good at like everything.
Yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want with Zyrakan. It's a very good bot lane. I'm just not very good at Zaya, so it makes it hard.
Although Lucian Braum probably is, I can see that being pretty good against the Rakan. Potentially, if you get the double tap from Lucian, get the stun off before Rakan uses his grand entrance to get back over to Zaya, I can see that maybe working out. But I'm honestly more interested in the top half of this map because we talked about it before. One, the Yasuo Gragas top lane. Obviously, a lot of potential to pop off there, especially with a Galio mid for even more exciting knockup adventures. But also, Blue Castle on Riven top lane. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that Blue Castle has graced us with his Riven a couple times before on stream. One of his picks that he likes to pull out from time to time. but Riven is not something that we're lucky enough to see all that often.
True. One of those picks that you kind of only see in competitive when it is somebody's pocket pick. You think of Viper, I believe, in the LCS, occasionally picking that for his team. Usually it's banned out against him, so nice drawn ban. But a lot of Rivens, you see in solo queue are kind of lackluster, but the folks that really put in a lot of time on the champion can certainly do a lot of damage, and there could be a lot of damage going on in this top lane. Very few tanks in this game in general, and especially on this top side, we had a lot of bruisers that want to kind of just slam their heads into each other on Gragas's side, literally. We'll see if Kaipora and Blue Castle can kind of keep their distance from this Yasuo Gragas Galio comp. This is not a team that you want to dive against. You have Braum disengaged, Galio can ult in, Gragas can ult people away, Yasuo getting into the air, Lucian kind of just hanging out, but hopefully not getting killed. So yeah, not a team you really want to be trifling with too much.
Yeah, and I definitely am afraid for Bagels if the Yasuo gets ahead. My concern, though, would be generally Yasuo Gragas is good into teams that aren't good at kiting, that don't have great disengage. Xayah, we already talked about how Xayah and Rakan can be hard to dive. Xayah, especially, of course, with the Featherstorm, ridiculously hard to get on top of. You can almost never really guarantee if Christian plays the fights properly, he honestly should very rarely, if ever, be found by one of those knockups, so that Sir Donald Trump can ult him. There's also a good disengage coming out from Syndra, from Yo-Yo Bros in the mid lane. Decent disengage for as much pressure as Syndra can put out, as much damage as she has. Her disengage is pretty solid versus a Yasuo. Just kind of bat him away with the Scout of the Week. And Nuno too, obviously a really tanky front line, going to be hard to deal with potentially. So
another point with the Syndra also, if Yasuo is ultimating, he can't be windwalling. So, if you're able to land that stun in that instance and then just kind of blow him up while he is trying to ult or trying to dash on somebody, could be a nice window also to take him out. And you mentioned the Featherstorm trying to keep Christian alive. There are just a lot of knockups on this team and a lot of ways that he can get crowd controlled before getting knocked up. I'm thinking something like the Galio. If he does get taunted and then get knocked up by the Galio, maybe by a Braum ultimate, then by a Tornado or a Gragas ultimate. So there's kind of like 4 ways he can easily get knocked up once he is, crowd controlled, which is a little bit harder to dodge. Would have to use that cleanse or maybe buy a QSS for himself, which I would actually kind of expect to see him build maybe a little bit early in this game. Not sure exactly where he'll fit it into his build, but I would be a little bit surprised if he doesn't have that one, able to get out of the Yasuo ultimate with QSS Flash or with the QSS Ultimate, rather, which can get you out of pretty much any combo. You get taunted, pop at QSS, get up into the air, and hopefully blow a lot of card control at the same time, like you. Essentially just baiting out Gragas Ultimate maybe, and then be able to turn the fight for your team.
Carl, they got Ignite on Mr. Donald Trump up there in the top lane. Mr. Trump looking to get aggressive, potentially find some 1v1 kills versus Blue Castle early on. A dangerous game, but not really an unexpected one. Teleports are going to be even. But honestly, the barrier mid lane for Yo-Yo Bros is maybe a little bit more surprising for me. I wonder if he's concerned that it would have been a Yasuo mid, or just concerned for sort of surviving in the mid game fights, which is a fair point. Like we were talking about how strong the Yasuo Gragas is early on, and I would say if it was the Yasuo mid lane, 100% safe runes or safe summoner spells, barrier, maybe exhaust, something like that would be the way to go. But it's a Galio, and Galio Gragas is not the scariest thing in the world as far as 2v2s go. Pretty good disengage as well. I feel like Yo-Yo Bro is probably going to be safe early on, but that barrier should be giving him hopefully some value later on as well.
Able to give him survivability late into the game. Only a 3-minute cooldown, I believe. So certainly able to block a lot of damage late into the game. I probably would have gone for the cleanse choice, as I was mentioning for Christian, but we'll see what kind of value he's able to get out of this. If he is getting Yasuo ult, that cleanse not helpful in any way. So we will see how that works out for Yo-Yo Bros as we hop on the rift here.
Honestly, there's really not that much crowd control that's easily cleansable. Like there's so many knockups, but it's really only the taunt from Tunes and like the Braum stun. And that's about it. Everything else is just like knockups and knockbacks.
I guess I'm just scared of the taunt. Maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, the taunt is pretty scary. Although not as scary as if you all will take a journey with me through memory lane here. They did change Galio so that he can no longer hold taunt and then flash. He has to flash and then taunt. So it's a little more telegraphed, a little bit more outplayable now. So, you know, a little bit less scary there. Although another thing worth mentioning, it probably won't be too big of a deal here, but recent buff for Galio too, I think 3 patches away now, 10.6, I think. Galio, on his hero's entrance, he got a buff that gives him his Shield of Durand, magic damage shield, to everybody in his ultimate range when he ults. Or not his ultimate range, but his like the radius of where he's gonna land. Everyone in that radius now gets that magic damage shield. And so, you know, Yo-Yo Bro is gonna have a harder time potentially one-shotting somebody. I doubt you'll see that show up too much here. Normally you see that sort of as a response to like something I've seen a bunch of times is the Galio as a rumble counter to nullify the equalizer damage. Yeah.
Could be meaningful in this game though. Probably not what Yo-Yo Bros was really hoping for when he picked the Syndra. Be playing against this, you know, traditional magic damage tank. But we'll see what he's able to get done. Syndra, obviously, quite a strong pick currently in the meta. My random little intramural team I've been playing on is 3 for 3 with Syndra. So, you know, wonderful evidence right there that it's just OP. So I'd pick Syndra in your solo queue games. Definitely recommend it. Able to do a lot of burst, a lot of crowd control.
I would say Syndra is probably the best solo queue champion right now.
Oh, I think so.
Lane. There's others that are better in competitive. Like Zoe and Azir have seen so much contention in competitive. Rumble too still, but when it comes to solo queue, I feel like Syndra is almost unbeatable just because, like you were saying, she is so scary. There's so much carry potential, one-shot potential in her kit. She just does so much damage.
Yeah, she's just super solid. It's really hard to, you know, like if you play 100 games with her, probably not going to have too bad of an outcome. We see a little bit of fighting in the bot lane here. Bot lane's going at it. Krios Veil getting himself to safety. The level 2 power spike for Zyrakan. Definitely something to watch out for. Always watch out for that level 2 spike if you are playing bot lane. Count those creeps. The first wave and the 3 melees will give you level 2 if both players get XP. So able to count that pretty nicely as Christian running for his life, almost going to get stunned up by the Braum passive. Braum chasing forward. Stun, oh, going to wear off as well. This is not a great situation here for Krios.
Where's the Blade Caller? Where is it?
Flash away. Blade Caller evidently not available, as we might see a Nunu coming here in the bot lane. Decides against it. Maybe he's decided.
I underestimated the Blade Caller cooldown, or I overestimated. I thought it'd be back up soon, but unlucky.
It's an unluckily long cooldown that early in the game, but still a nice start. Also doesn't have Blade Caller, so that would make it quite a long cooldown.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Hold the thought as we see a flash and cage here. Plasquez are going to be getting himself back out. Maybe we'll see the Blade Caller now. Picking up first blood for Christian as the kill goes over to Bagels.
Not wrong, Carl. I was not wrong. I was prophetic. I knew that was going to happen. First blood picked up for Christian in the bot lane on this Xayah. Not an ideal start to Obsidian DeathKnights' team, although top lane, Blue Castle get a little bit aggressive, and Hide on Shade is in the top half of the map. We might see a skirmish here as well.
Seeing a bit of a party here, Bora running off to safety. Did get a flash blow. No iTunes having to use that. Summoner didn't quite see how that did get burned, so that goes down. A little bit more trading in the top as well, but everybody walks off. Mr. President here in the top lane, get himself to safety, popping a potion. He's saying, I'm fine. You're just tickling.
I think this is a little spooky if you're ODK. Nothing too crazy yet. Like, their big power spikes are obviously once they get those level 6 abilities, right? You gotta have the hero's entrance and the explosive cask, and of course, the last breath for Mr. Trump in the top lane. Otherwise, their team comp is not really able to do all that much other than potentially bot lane. But their bot lane is losing. Their bot lane is behind. We talked about how hard it is to do anything into a Zyrakan anyway. So really, I think ODK, they're gonna play on top half of the map, but their top half is losing. It's a Yasuo with Ignite, and he just got solo killed. Blue Castle flashing to pick up Mr. Trump. I think that this is not a good start to the game here for ODK.
Definitely not what they were looking for. When your Ignite laner is being killed by the teleport laner, something went wrong. I think that's pretty safe to say as a general assumption here. So, Mr. Donald Trump, Mr. President, was not saved. Mr. President is dead, and he was taken out. So, getting a little bit of armor. He's saying, I'm scared of this Riven now. We've moved on from tickling. This is just hurting at this point. Trying to get himself some defense, but we'll see if he's able to come back in the lane.
I do want to point out, you guys didn't see the draft because it was pro-drafted, but in case you're wondering, the Riven was locked in after the Yasuo. It was last picked for Bagels, the very last champion they ended up locking in. And so, you know, I don't know if this is a 200 IQ Blue Castle. They knew that Mr. Trump was going to be top lane. I guess they did. Well, but, I mean, they did. Hold on. Blue side. Okay, I'm trying to remember. It was last picked for Bagels, but I'm not actually sure if they saw the Galio pick, which was ODK's last pick. So I don't know if they knew the Yasuo was going to be top lane or not, but regardless, Blue Castle putting in work in this top lane. Now a gank bot lane, Kaipora looking to punish Flashless Braum.
There they go, and the grand entrance as well, and yeah, that ace just blown up immediately. The teleport was canceled from iTunes. Must have been canceled by that scout of the week. Maybe a good thing, not entirely sure he actually wanted to end up in the bot lane, as we do see a little bit more fighting in the top lane. Blue Castle using that Blade of the Exile, trying to get a little bit more damage down. Wasn't able to pick up the kill, but still asserting some dominance in that lane as the dragon has been started up.
Yeah, and first dragon, very likely to go over to Bagels at this point. We do see a potential collapse coming in. Curious Veil.
This could go badly, actually, for
yeah,
Bagel.
Curious Veil is collapsing.
Do have the Consume Smite available, though, so we'll see if Kaipora is able to pick this one up. Going very low, she's going to be taken out. iTunes has picked up the kill, I should say, here on the Galio as the fight's going to continue. There is the ultimate from Galio. Curious Veil going to be taken out almost immediately. Last player, they're going to try to get himself to safety, but it is going to be the Riven going down as well, teleporting in to their death in this situation. Is Christian trying to kite back here for his team? Is Blade Caller available? Yes, it is. Not going to quite pick up the kill. The flash of the wall from Hide on Shade to get himself out to safety. Splash Quasar using all his resources to try to help his team as the dragon has been successfully stopped.
Dragon stopped, and not only has the dragon been stopped, but we talked about the Obsidian DeathKnights win condition, right? Getting those ultimates and playing around them. They won that fight. They had the grand entrance from iTunes, and while they were doing that, really Obsidian DeathKnights' win condition is the top lane, is the Yasuo. And Mr. Trump got some much needed breathing room in this top lane. He got a turret plate for himself. He crashed 2 waves into turret that Blue Castle's not going to get. So actually I had an experience now and going to get the clean recall off. So extra breathing space for the Yasuo early, who was losing the matchup. Maybe gives him a chance to come back. Maybe gives a chance for him to get level 6 and get stronger. And now Hide on Shade can look top lane and maybe turn that around. And so ODK in a much better spot than they were a few minutes ago. And all that being said, they didn't even lose the dragon, right? Bagels are who picked up, or Bagels were forced off the dragon. They weren't allowed to pick it up. And so ODK, they're slowing this game down to the tempo they want it to be at pretty well right now. I shouldn't even say that. They effectively stalled, right, until they got those big cooldowns.
True.
They didn't give over that first dragon. Now they got their big cooldowns. Now they can look to maybe start fighting some of these fights.
Yeah, absolutely. That teleport not quite working out for Blue Castle as they may have hoped. I do want to point out, though, Christian did pick up a kill in that fight and get himself out of there without dying. So doesn't have bounty on his head, but he is 2-0-1 now. So the Xayah, clearly the strong point on this team. We mentioned the power of the Xayah Rakan. Those ultimates almost coming through. Could definitely look for some 2v2 kills here in the bot lane once they do get level 6. They are quite strong. A lot of AD on the Xayah as level 6 has been hit for Christian. We'll see an engage almost right on cue. Gonna get stunned up. Christian, though, he does have the ultimate, though. This cannot really go any way except for Bagels. As, yeah, that ace is going to be almost taken out as my directing camera has flipped me away to fight in the jungle. Kaipora picking up the kill onto Hide on Shade in the jungle. Nice invade, and Tell a Lie, Blast Quasar going to be picking up the kill onto, yeah, that ace. Kind of a delayed bot lane fight. Braum just running for his life, but he does eventually go down.
It's flash bottom some time. Although, a Christian, I think it was green for both kills. He really wanted Curious Veil. He was like refusing to auto attack, yeah, that ace, saying, I want this illusion, and ended up almost letting him get away. Still, though, obviously 2-0 on this Zayed now. BF Sword to a Vampiric Scepter in solo queue. Take notes, you cannot step up to that, right? You are going to lose. Now, top lane, Donald Trump in trouble.
You'll see. I would say that's the largest snowball I've ever seen in the top lane, as it might be saving Mr. President once again, but he cannot be saved. Blue Castle has picked up that kill. Sir Donald Trump falling once again. 0-2 as the quickness in the bot lane. Here is the engage onto the bot lane of ODK. Christian going to be picking up the kill onto Krios Veil almost immediately. Yeah, that ace running for his life once again. Looks like he's going to be getting the safety once more, but still 1 kill for the bot lane of Bagels. This going very, very strongly in their favor as the Herald comes out of the top lane. A little bit early, I would say, but they still pick up a couple of plates.
That's disaster for ODK, right? Bagels just committed so much to the top side of the map. They had Kaipora gank, they took the Herald, they used it, and High on Shade on the boss side of the map can't get anything back. Curious Veil, and yeah, that ace are so far behind. And now ODK, right? How often in a game do you get to see the same lane take advantage of their level 6 power spike twice, right? Christian and Blast Crazer, they go in for that first fight off the level 6 cheese. Don't have to use their ultimates. As soon as that ace and Curious Veil get back to lane, boom, the quickness into the Featherstorm. Christian and Blast Crazer wipe them off the map again. This is not good news. 4k gold separating Obsidian DeathKnights from Bagels, and they're 2 damage dealers. We talked about the Lucian and especially the Yasuo as being the key carries for this team. They are almost hopelessly behind at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Still on that Dam Scepter, a couple of Doran's Blades, and a couple of daggers. Just kind of a patchwork build. This dragon might even get stolen out by K4. Just going over the wall. Does have Consume. Not going to go over. So ODK able to pick up the one dragon. Kind of the saving grace for them at this point, but it just doesn't seem like that on its face. Would be enough, as the Essence Reaver has been completed now for Christian. This is definitely a bot lane gap at this point. That's a 1,800 gold lead for that Xayah over the Lucian here. Just incredibly far ahead.
Well, you know, bot lane gap, but also I gotta say it, right? Donald Trump, took Ignite into the lane, assuming I'm assuming he thought it was favorable lane, and he gave up first blood in a 1v1. Now Head on Shade trying to get to the back bot lane,
just
but the
going
re-engage is there.
Far forward, gonna be taken out almost immediately. There's the guy ultimate Featherstorm, which had not been used in the previous fight, is back available as we have a bit of a freeze. We are back in business here. Yeah, that ace going very low. He's gonna be taken out here. You have to think this Braum has survived a lot longer than we would have thought as well. Absolute Zero coming across. Christian now just ripping through everyone. Blast Crazer are gonna miss that, but a double kill for the Xayah. iTunes taken out of this one. He heroically entranced to his doom as he is taken out of this one. Blue Castle misses the ultimate on the top side, not able to complete the dive, but we might see a bit of a dive of their own in the bot lane. The biggest snowball ever, the newly biggest snowball, has succeeded in getting them the kill. Christian has got like a bit of a fight in the top lane. Sir Donald Trump trying to get his revenge onto Blue Castle, and he does manage to do so. The shutdown coming through, that is 500 gold going over to the Ionian Blade Master.
Okay, Trump. Okay, I see you. Getting that solo kill. Making the Ignite get put to work there, but is it going to be enough? Obsidian DeathKnights lose their bot lane turret. They lose even more deaths. Curious Veil dead again. Now Kaipora taking a bite out of Hide on Shade. Blast Crazer are looking for more.
Here we go with another engage. There's a cast from Gregalius to try to get his team to safety. Yeah, that ace on the front lines once again. He has just been tanking up for his team and getting himself out of there, and he does manage to do so. No kills to be found in the jungle, just a little bit of partying around as we see a teleport in the mid lane. Blue Castle is teleporting from his inner turret, trying to pick up the kill. This could turn into a 4v4 in quite a hurry. Right, scratch that. It's going to be a 4v2 as the bot lane's been caught at another double kill for Christian. iTunes now desperately on the run. Don't think he's going to be able to get out of this one, as the entire team is actually chasing at this point. We'll see if he is able to execute. Blue Castle doesn't have the ultimate to catch up. I think iTunes has the execute.
Yeah, but you know, still an experience range, so Blue Castle not missing out on too much there. And 14-3 now between these teams. The first dragon did go over to ODK. They managed to sneak that one off some reset timers from Bagels off one of those initial fights. But if I'm being honest here, if I'm being real with you, Carl, I don't think Bagels really care all that much. They're more than happy to sit on an 8k gold lead 14 minutes in. They broke open bot lane turret. They got 4 of the 5 turret plates top lane, but 4 turret plates ended up falling. So Blue Castle, despite being on the losing end of that 1v1, is still in a very strong spot. Yo-Yo Bros as well in the mid lane. Got his Luden's Echo. Now, sort of been quietly farming up on this Cinder. Not too much has happened yet. Now Donald Trump being collapsed on in the top lane. No flash. Here comes quickness.
There's the quickness coming through. Donald Trump going to be able to dodge that one out, but he does get charmed up in the end. Going to get rooted by the Nuno as well. Absolute Zero in a great spot to catch him out. And Christian now legendary 10-0-2 on the Xayah, ripping through the Obsidian DeathKnights just like a knife through butter, as the top lane tower is going to go out. ODK scrambling to try to defend their lanes.
My name is Carl. I don't like Xayah. Oh yeah? Well, Christian heard you. And now he's 10-0 and he's popping off. So, Bagels popping off. Rotated their bot side of the top half of the map, got that nice quickness from Blast Crazer to pick off Sir Donald Trump, and now they are moving onto this Herald, just taking everything from ODK. And meanwhile, Blue Castle's bot lane. So this is a 4 versus 4 over this Herald. Looks like we might see the fight picked here.
Culling comes across. Christian in any mood to fight. Doesn't have the Featherstorm. Going to use that one. He might get taunted up. He has, but he is still staying quite safe. Has the flash to get himself out. The Blade Claw going to come through as well. He is legendary. Now iTunes trying to do his best, but he's just getting ripped through. That's a double kill for the Xayah. 12 or 13 kills, I should say. A quadra kill coming through for Christian. 14-0-2 on the Xayah. At some point, it's just getting a bit ridiculous.
And ODK maybe not quite on the same page there, right? Blue Castle was bot side of the map, roamed up, while Donald Trump ran down there to match him. But, you know, if you're going to contest that Herald, you got to pick. You got to say, we're going to go for the all, and we're going to try to get a numbers advantage with Donald Trump there, and we can look to make something happen. But they didn't have the numbers advantage. It was 4 versus 4, and Bagels so far ahead in gold. They wiped the fight. They dropped the Herald. They take the mid lane inner turret, and they're about to take all of ODK's hopes and dreams. This last inhibitor turret, or this inhibitor turret, the last turret of the mid lane, about to fall. Herald, Shelly doing a number on this turret. It's just barely clinging to life with about, well, how much HP? What does that say? About 900 HP.
See a re-engage here. Blue Castle use the ultimate, and then they're going to go back into the fight. Blue Castle's going to pick up the kill onto Ace. Christian in the backline is staying very safe. Absolute Zero came through, picking up 4 kills, make that 5. It's a 5 for O Ace, and this could be the end of the game, actually, as Bagels has wiped the floor. The 5 for O Ace, 14-0-7 on the side of Christian. The re-engage, not quite what ODK was looking for on that fight, and it is a surrender as Bagels pick up the first game in this best of 3.
Yeah, you know what? Obsidian DeathKnights, they did not look as good as I was hoping. You know, I thought they might come out of the gate swinging with this Yasuo Gragas comp, but didn't quite end up happening here, unfortunately. But Bagels, a really nice game, very clean for the most part. You know, I'll give Blue Castle a little bit of pain for giving up that 1v1 in the top lane, giving that kill over to Mr. Trump up there. But overall, not too much to complain about. And it honestly just sort of felt like Bagels were outclassing ODK, just like sort of across the map. That's, you know, looking back at it, it's like, what do? ODK, I think their draft was not terrible, but they didn't play to their strengths very well, and they just sort of got rolled everywhere. It's kind of what it felt like to me.
I agree. I don't dislike the draft really at all. One thing to note, kind of in that last fight with the quadra kill, went over to Christian. If you're gonna kill the Xayah, you need to have Yasuo there. The Yasuo is kind of the crux of this comp, I think. You're really looking for those multi-man ultimates to come through from him, able to get picks in side lanes, able to start 1v1, and he just wasn't able to do so. He got too far behind early and wasn't in those key team fights. And so we saw in that fight, Christian had everything up, had the flash, had the ultimate available, the heal, his support standing right on him. You just can't get to that AD carry at that point, especially without the last breath to kind of come through and hold him in place for a little bit while he's not able to get out of that. And so they're kind of missing a key component in each of those fights. And it kind of just led to their demise, losing fights across the map. Every lane kind of lost. Weren't really able to get to their power spike at a level of, you know, gold that they were able to fight.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I think if there's one champion you don't want to get behind on this team, it's the Yasuo. You got to play around Mr. Trump. You got to keep him alive and healthy and strong, being able to threaten those backline one-shots. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for now. We're going to go to a short break, going to give it a few minutes, and then we'll be right back at you with game number 2. And Bagels and Obsidian DeathKnights going to finish duking it out in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. And we are back. Style Esports. We got game number 2 here. Bagels versus Obsidian DeathKnights. ODK lost game number 1. Bagels up 1-0. Can ODK claw their way back to take a game off of Bagels and take us potentially to a game 3? Or is this where they fall? Is this where they flounder? Where Bagels secures themselves in a 4th place spot? We are going to see in just a few minutes. This game was pro-drafted. We are moving into Champion Select. I am Baymax, joined by my best friend and casting buddy, Mr. Jarl Carl. How is it going, Mr. Carl?
Doing pretty good. Kind of a brief first game, hoping for a little bit more competition here in the second game. Bagels looking to improve to that 6-3 spot. So they do have one more game after this. If they win that and finish off this series, they will be tied for that 4th place position that you mentioned. So definitely they do want to pick up the W in this one. And we do have a Gnar first pick. That's something we were talking about before the broadcast. Did get buffed in this most recent patch, so should be pretty exciting.
Yeah, the Mega Gnar jump, the crunch, does a little bit more damage. I think it's 30 increased damage at every rank. And also his boulder cooldown reduction. So if you pick up the boulder toss in Mega Gnar form, the cooldown reduction before was 60% before you could throw it again. Now it's 70% CDR. So a little bit of a buff there. Could end up being significant. Gnar has seen some love a couple times in recent patches. I'm definitely interested to see the Gnar pick come through. Galio again for iTunes in the mid lane for Obsidian DeathKnights. Honestly, I think that was one of the parts of ODK that maybe looked the best
I
last
agree.
game. So
Yeah.
seeing him run that back, not a bad thing, especially into a Diana, which I think that is a pretty good matchup for a Galio. And just good at like all stages of the game, honestly. Got the Diana and a Kiana, by the way. Kiana jungle locked in for Bagels. Not something I've seen for a while. I like Galio into picks like this, right? Melee champions, they got to get up in your face, got to get close to you. Galio, really good against that. He puts up that shield of Durant, he finds the taunt, he finds a knockup, and boom, Kaipora and Yo-Yo Bros are crowd controlled for so long they got no idea what hit him, and they are just dead. There's definitely a lot of potential for that to happen. So I like the pick.
So do I. Think kind of what is Galio good against? Magic damage and assassins. And when you put them together, you get Diana. Magic damage, assassin. So very strong against that champion. And Kiana just kind of has to get in your face if she wants to kill you, and so he's a lot more vulnerable to that taunt. Galio, master of that magic resistance and crowd control among those folks getting close into him with big taunts could lead very nicely into that Gnar ultimate. And the bullet time coming through for Krios Veil. So definitely another wombo combo is available for ODK. We saw in the last game not quite able to execute the Gragas Yasuo combo they might have looked for, but they do have another chance for a nice wombo in this one.
Yeah, I like that Bagels are switching it up and going with something that is honestly, in a lot of ways, a bit more of a meta team comp than what they had last time. Yasuo Gragas, I'm not saying it's not a good comp, but ODK looked a little uncomfortable on it last time. So seeing the Misfortune and the Rek'Sai and the Galio's sort of more typical picks coming through here, a little bit encouraging. I think I'm looking forward to see what they can do on it. But let's switch gears from talking about ODK's team comp to talking about Bagels team comp because they are just about as solo queue as you can get. These
Pretty
are
much.
ridiculously Chad champions. They're going in, they're taking the fight. And I feel like Bagels, we're at the spot right now where they're saying, all right, we played that last game. It was, let's keep it real, bit of a stomp. We're going to skill check you. We're just going to hit you with all the champions that we want to play that can get aggressive and punish mistakes. We're going to throw them at you and see if you can handle it. And so I think this is really ODK's chance to say, we're going to keep our battle formations. We're not going to let the cheese get to us. We're not going to let the aggressive picks cheese us to death. We're going to hold our lines and we're going to come back and we're going to prove that we can sort of stay in this, that we're a relevant team that can team fight well and play around our team composition well.
Absolutely. I think the Draven is kind of the prime example of that, solo queue-esque, as you mentioned, and also just saying, hey, we got really far ahead last time. Let's do it again. Draven, of course, excelling when ahead, doing rather poorly when he is behind. So if Christian can repeat even half of his performance from last game, this is going to be a very strong Draven indeed. And this bot lane in general, set support, something I've been playing recently with a friend of mine who does happen to play support. I've been playing with Callista, but it works with most AD carries, Set able to just crowd control with that Q and throw out some haymaker damage as well, doing a lot of damage, very tanky in the bot lane, especially against support damage, which isn't that high, and like early game AD carry damage, they're just not really able to take him out, and so he can tank up for Christian here while he's throwing out the damage with the axes.
Yeah, and you're 100% right about that. I would, we might see. I can see a world where they swap, but I think you're probably right. I think it's probably set support, and set support is, like you were saying, actually really good. It's not that Bagels' team comp is off meta, right? In a lot of ways, it's not. Set is a good support. Diana's a pretty good mid laner. Kiana in the jungle is a little
That's
bit
pretty
more
off meta.
suspicious. Yeah, that's not something that's been good for a while. Draven not really all that good, but the Maokai top lane also something that I've seen. Although I do think that Bagels they got a lot going on for him right here. Gnar, I think Gnar does a pretty good job versus Maokai at every stage of the game in the 1v1. Going to be winning the split push. Going to hopefully have pressure early on. Rek'Sai as well in the jungle. I think Rek'Sai, we talked about how the Galio pick can be good versus those melee assassins. I think Rek'Sai is also good versus a lot of those melee assassins because, again, Kiana, Diana jump on your face. That guarantees a free knockup, basically. So Rek'Sai gonna have the knockup, chain crowd control, yada yada yada. I like that pick as well. Then the Zillion coming in hot for a support, which is not necessarily what I would have expected to see, but I like it. It's a nice adaptation to some of the aggression that is coming through from Obsidian DeathKnights. If there's one thing that can really ruin an assassin's day, it's when the AD carry on the enemy team gets a free GA as soon as their support is level 6. Like that can be a massive playmaking tool, a massive game-changing tool that that ace has in the bot lane here for ODK.
Absolutely. Zillion Ultimate, not something you like to see. It's amazing how fast you can forget about it when it is on the other team until you go in for that kill, go in for that last auto attack, use the flash, and that free GA does just appear, and you're kicking yourself after you get taken out. So we'll see how that goes in the bot lane, how they're able to use that one on the hands of that ace. And I would hazard a guess to say that this Gnar Rek'Sai matchup is winning topside against the Maokai Kiana. We mentioned the Rek'Sai very strong against Kiana. If she does decide to commit, Rek'Sai can kind of just knock her up, say, hold on, we're going to hit you for a while before you can dish out any more of that damage. And the Gnar against the Maokai, if he's able to keep his distance, maybe go Wit's End first is an item that I've been seeing first on Gnar. If you're looking to go for more of that attack speed, go Wit's End. Grasp of the Undying for the Keystone selection. He has gone for the Conqueror, so that theory is out the window. But if he does decide to go for more of that Bork, Wit's End kind of style, definitely could kite the Maokai out, and you don't even have to use abilities to let Maokai heal. You can just auto-attack him to death with that W passive as well. So Maokai could find himself in a little bit of trouble against this Gnar. In the top lane, we'll see how the President and Blue Castle end up going head to head here. We saw, a reasonably even 1v1 actually in the last game. Sir Donald Trump was able to pick up a solo kill. So seems like the top lane matchup maybe not the most imbalanced. There was a lot of jungle attention there, but we'll see if it is more of a 1v1 in this game and how the Gnar faces against this tree.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. I like the Gnar pick, and I'm curious to see what it can do with the buffs that came through. Also, bigger picture stuff, right? We saw ODK versus Bagels just last game, and when the pressure was on, when Bagels were taking the fight to ODK with what was honestly probably not as good of an early game team fighting comp, or at least not as good of an early game skirmishing comp. ODK kind of crumbled and they kind of fell apart a little bit, and they didn't stay together and fight around their win conditions, their big ultimates, the last breath especially. They didn't fight around those tools as best as they could have, and so I'm curious to see if Bagels can sort of right that wrong, right? Because they're in a similar position here. You're gonna want to have the bullet time available. The chrono shift has got to be there. The hero's entrance has got to be there. A lot of those big cooldowns. And now, also, I think the Bagels, they aren't necessarily going to have bot lane pressure. They aren't probably going to have mid lane pressure. They might. They could. But based off how those lanes went last time around, we'll see what ends up happening.
Do have a bit of a pause here as we get into game 2. It looks like was a bit of AD carry lag on the side of Bagels, so we're going to hope to get that resolved. Looks like folks are ready. Going to be getting back in the game right away, just building the tension here a little bit for you folks. We'll see if there is any more level 2 action, as we saw happening in the last game at Zyricon, getting level 2 before the Lucian Braum. So we'll see how that can work out. You can always see some flash crowd control from Blast Quasar, or maybe a couple of double bombs from that ace here on the Zillion can definitely do a lot of damage. Those bombs are very frustrating, watching that timer go down until it just explodes. Some unavoidable damage is definitely never fun. Playing against Zillion can be quite frustrating at the best of times.
Yeah, it's hard to go in on. Pretty good, you know, but I feel like Christian and Blazquazar, they don't have to go in. They can just sort of shove. They can just sort of shove. And you use those big Draven axes to shove and look to pick fights or look to roam in the jungle, make things happen with Kaipora. You know, Bagels this time around, they're in kind of the same boat in some ways as ODK was last time, where Kaipora really, especially on the counter jungle, which we talked about, there's a reason they kind of fell out of meta. The clear is not nearly as good as it used to be, and Kaipora is going to be pretty ultimate reliant to make anything really happen. And so the Supreme Display of Talent not going to be available for obviously a long time until Kaipora ends up hitting level 6. It might be in Bagel's best interest to not fight too much before then. I think that ODK do have a winning lane in their mid lane. Galio is a nice matchup into Diana, and iTunes was looking pretty good on it last time around. Top lane as well. Gnar, good into Maokai. Bot lane, maybe a little bit more up in the air. You were talking about the benefits of a misfortune Zillion. In my mind, it sort of remains to be seen, because Blazquazar and Christian were looking so good last time around. They can probably pull a rabbit out of a hat any point in the game.
We do see some fighting in the bot lane. A fail flash by Krios Vale. You have to think he's going to be taken out. First blood going over the Draven. That is not what you want to see for the side of Obsidian DeathKnights. 2 minutes into the game and your AD carry. Both summoners down off the map.
And you know what? That was the opposite of Caster Curse. That was Caster being a prophet. Prophetic Caster. That was another kill. Christian popping off, and not Christian or Blazquazar finding that fight. Although you know, gotta keep it real. Curious Vale held his flash so long, a little bit surprising to see, and then ended up investing it anyway at the very last second. And now you see Hide on Shade was in the bot side of the map, ended up wasting some tempo because because Christian and Blazquazar got there first and won the fight. Now looking mid lane.
Few Tempi have been wasted perhaps, but Hide on Shade finding a yank in the mid lane. The flash knock up, double flashes for the side of ODK, able to pick up the kill onto Yo-Yo Bros. So a kill traded back. Definitely looking to be a bit more proactive, you have to think, in this game, as they do kill the mid laner.
I like that. That's really good. Although Blazquazar Hex Flash bot lane.
More fighting in the bot lane. Krios Vale very low. There's a flash forward from Christian. He's going to be picking up a second kill. Gets out of tower range just in time. Steps back to catch his axe. Maybe a little bit greedy, but he didn't walk into tower range. So he gets himself out, and that's a second kill for the Draven. This is, you know, almost nowhere to go but downhill for the ODK bot lane right now. Fed Draven, he has enough for a BF sword at, you know, 3.5 minutes into the game. Killing Draven at this point becomes very difficult.
Yeah, that's a 3 minute and 27 second BF sword Draven. Is there anything scarier? Anything at all? Maybe like if a Cinder somehow got a death cap at 3.5 minutes. Like, I don't know if that's possible. You know, a one-man ace in the level 1 fight. I don't know. But Christian, very strong spot. And, you know, I got to give credit to Hide on Shade for finding that gank mid lane, finding that kill. That is a important play. That was a smart play, trading something back for losing to the bot lane. But Christian and Blazquazar, they look positioned, they look set up to snowball the spot lane even harder than last time around. And last time around, we were looking at a 10-0 Xayah 18 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and a 10-0 Draven is something altogether different than even a 10-0 Xayah. I think this is the point in the game where it's kind of the last chance for Hide on Shade if he does want to save this bot lane, probably before any more levels or any more items come through. As we do see them taking it into their own hands. Haymaker has come back. Christian having to kite himself out to safety, going pretty low as he does walk off. Has that BF sword, but no real way to heal himself yet, as we do see Kaipora here coming into the bot lane. There is the engage, but it looks like everybody's going to be able to get themselves out to safety. Christian just a little bit too low to be committing that far into this fight. But like I was saying, I think this is kind of the last point in the game where you can try to snowball this lane back the other direction, kind of stop the snowball, as it were, for Hide on Shade. You want to avoid the Draven and set, you know, being level 6, being level 7, getting a couple more items, as we may have to hold that thought. Hide on Shade. Going for another gank on Yo-Yo Bros, focusing his attention in the mid lane. But it looks like the Diana going to just be able to walk himself out to safety.
Gonna walk himself to safety and actually steal some of those little raptors away from Hide on Shade. And Kaipora still hanging around the bot side of the map. I will say, you know, Christian on this Draven, very strong spot right now, but Draven is an immobile champion with not a lot of safety tools at his disposal. If he does get picked, right, if the double bombs do land, if the Gnar ultimate is there, if a pick tool comes through for ODK, Christian will die. He's
True.
not going to be safe enough to live. There's no support to keep him alive. No real support. You got to set. There's no shields, no healing, none of that coming through. He doesn't have a zillion in his back pocket to ult him with the chrono shift. So definitely, you know, a little bit more of a tentative lead to have the gold on a Draven versus like a Xayah, like what Christian was on last time around, where he has those self-healing tools to keep himself alive, despite the fact that he was so far ahead, right? So there were pick tools, but he kept himself alive.
Absolutely true. You're kind of doing more damage, but also a little bit more vulnerable as EsportsBae going to be taken out here. Once again, Christian on a killing spree now, 3-0 on the Draven. Was a little bit low there in that lane, but that Hex Flash working wonders for blaskquaezar. That's the second kill he's been able to pick up with that, as Christian is now 3-0.
Yeah, the Bush Hex Flash, really not something that ODK has been playing around all that well so far. But credit to blaskquaezar getting a lot done on this champion, showcasing why set support can be so very strong. Although Christian and blaskquaezar are recalling right now, we see Hide on Shade go over the wall in that dragon pit and started up. He is not on vision. He swept his way there, so he knows he's not on vision. Probably gonna be giving ODK the first dragon of the game, which could end up being pretty important. We talked about those big game-changing ultimates that ODK have access to or are going to have access to. Things like the Hero's Entrance, like the Bullet Time, like the Chrono Shift. Having a Cloud Dragon to facilitate those champions and their ultimates a little bit better, it could end up being the game changer.
They will absolutely have those 10% faster now, I believe, with that one Cloud Dragon. Could be super useful. This is what we saw in the last game. Also, the first dragon going over to ODK. Didn't work out for him in that game, but this one might be having a little bit more real impact with that ultimate cooldown, as we see a bit of a gank in the top lane. Kpora, not level 6 yet, though. Sir Donald Trump might be able to just walk him out to safety. Gets the movement speed from transforming back to Mininar, and looks like he's going to be okay here as they're fighting all the way across the map. The mid lane, a bit of skirmishing, going back and forth. There's the engage from Yo-Yo Bros. Does commit the ultimate onto iTunes. iTunes, both of these champions very low. Ignite goes down, and Yo-Yo Bros does pick up that kill, the solo kill, onto the Galio in the mid lane. Bagels with victories across the map.
Ooh, and the flash, twisted advance, top lane too. Donald Trump in trouble, he's down. Kpora waiting in that bush. Carl, that's got to be the most tilting way to die. Kpora just sitting in that bush for so long, waiting for Trump to step up, and eventually he went a little bit too far forward. A flash into a targeted gap closing stun, and then here comes Kpora. Just how do you deal with that? How do you play around that? And now Kpora hitting level sticks while stealing away some of those topside camps from Hide on Shade. With the supreme display of talent available, things are about to get even scarier for ODK.
Yeah, not the ultimate you were really hoping to face too much in this game if you are ODK, and it is available, was not used in that gank. Like you said, pretty tilting way to die if you are Sir Donald Trump here in the top lane. You feel like the jungler's gone, you feel like you're safe, and boom, you're gone. In the blink of an eye, blink and you miss it on that. He has gone down, but he is keeping himself pretty close in farm at this point, so that is something to be happy for if you are him. EsportsBae gonna need this flash burn here in the bot lane. Whirling Death gonna come through. The ultimate from Zillion has gone down, so turning back time. EsportsBae is back up, but both summoners were expended for that play, and that ultimate no longer available. Christian wants to even get a bit more fighting, as he might actually get blown up here. He's gonna be taken out here with the bomb. The shutdown goes over to the MF. It's a double kill for EsportsBae and the shutdown as well. We move it up towards the top lane. The Herald fight has gone down. There's the Galio ultimate. Heroic entrance has come through. Blue Castle trying to keep himself alive. The ultimate from Diana has come through as well. The Herald still hitting everybody in the map, and it's a double kill now for Yo-Yo Bros. Make it a triple, I believe, and the Herald goes over as well to Bagels. The bot lane might have inted a bit, but the top lane picks up kills.
If you would have told me 30, 60 seconds ago, 30 or 60 seconds ago, that the bot lane was going to go well for ODK, but they were going to throw the top half of the map, I would have laughed in your face. But Christian and blaskquaezar are a little bit too far forward. Curious fail, and yeah, that ace, a nice punish onto Christian for stepping too far forward. Double bombs from, yeah, that ace, allowing for a nice bullet time, nice double up from EsportsBae. But Herald picked up 4 bagels going into the hands of Yo-Yo Bros. This is now a 4-1 Diana. Yo-Yo Bros is absolutely insane. Hasn't recalled for a little while, also sitting on 1,700 gold. He's gonna have a proto belt when he finally ends up recalling.
Christian getting himself stunned here in the bot lane. He takes a lot of damage pretty quickly. He could actually find himself in all sorts of trouble. Not quite found out by that. ability from Misfortune. He walks himself to safety. He does have the Vampiric Scepter to keep himself alive as well. Able to heal up, but not quite the same level of lifesteal he will have once he completes the Bloodthirster. So gonna have to be a little bit careful. Those bombs are relatively hard to dodge, actually, once he has been slowed by this lane as well. As we see a little bit of a fight in the top lane. Hide on Shade is here. Can they kill this tanky Maokai? There is the Gnar coming through, but Hide on Shade has found himself pretty low in this situation, and Blue Castle just walks himself to safety.
Multiple tower shots tanked there by Hide on Shade. Maybe not what he signed up for there. And now the Herald getting dropped mid lane as well, with so many resources just used by ODK. Top side of the map with Hide on Shade chunked so low, there's not really an answer. Not really an answer. Dive bot potentially coming out here. Look at Kaipora. He's got his ultimate available.
The supreme display of talent is available. He's waiting in the wings here. The Tribush is control warded too, so you might have a false sense of security going over to the bot lane of ODK. But it looks like they call it off for now. Go back into a bit of a farming pattern. Couple of plates picked up by Yo-Yo Bros. In the mid lane with that Herald. Just wants that money, not trying to save it for maybe the most efficient use, but just wants the money. He's able to get it, put it in his pocket. Maybe make a couple
I definitely agree with the decision to back off. Lolo Kaipora, as I say that, looks like he's positioning himself again for a dive with Dragon spawning. Chrono Shift is available for that Ace. I don't know if they can dive this, but they looks like they're gonna try.
Investing a lot of time into this. At some point, you've invested so much time that you just feel bad not going for it, which can sometimes be the demise of these teams. There is that Hex Flash as well. Blastquazer misses all his abilities, gets stunned into the tower. He could find himself in all sorts of trouble. The bullet time comes out. Christian trying to dodge out, but Kaipora has picked up the kill onto that Ace. Chrono Shift not able to come through. Christian picking up the kill as well. Did not have tower aggro, and he is able to get himself out. So both the bot laners traded for just the support on the side of Bagel.
That almost went horribly wrong if that Ace had gotten his Chrono Shift out, but now Bagels, they're on the horribly wrong end of a trade. Mid lane Yo-Yo Bros gank over the wall from Hide on Shade, and that is good night to the Diana. Yo-Yo Bros going to a black and gray screen for a little while. Shut down gold onto iTunes.
That's a 500 gold bounty as well, so 800 gold now into the pocket of iTunes. A little bit careless, I think, from the side of Bagels. These, champions pretty far ahead have thrown little leads in the mid lane. We just saw with Yo-Yo Bros and Christian being caught out a few times. Almost could have 2 deaths at this point on the Draven, and I think for somebody who started with the BF Sword at 3 minutes into the game, not what he would have been looking forward to. So maybe a little bit of over-regression here from Bagels, maybe a little bit cocky on this point, but they are still far ahead in this game, still 3,000 gold up as the second dragon of the game has spawned. It will be the Infernal.
Will be the Infernal. Fortunately for ODK, they got their hands on the first dragon, and so if Bagels want to sort of rush a Dragon Soul and use that pressure to end the game relatively early, they're going to be delayed by a pretty long time, and in fact, it looks like it might be Hide on Shade planning on making a play happen on the bot side of the map, hanging around to try to get some dragon pressure for his team. Christian and Blastquazer have had a tendency to get a little bit too aggressive and push up too far. It might happen again in real time with a giant land shark waiting in the wings.
Shade is here. Nice wards in the bush too. They were getting killed by those Hex Flashes, as we have to hold the thought on the Hex Flashes. The flash onto Christian, the ultimate from Set as well to try to get himself out. Can Hide on Shade proc the ultimate? Yes, he can. Christian going to be taken almost out, but he is saved, actually. Gets the Triumph heal as well. He's able to get himself out. Kaipora has picked up the kill onto Hide on Shade as the fight continues. That Ace running himself out to safety. iTunes trying to get himself out as well, but he is caught between a rock and a hard place. The Whirling Death comes through, picking up the kill in the backline on the Zillion. Chrono Shift did come out, though, and that has been used. Krios Vale trying to get himself out of this as well. Uses a flash, but he's not going to be able to get to safety. A triple kill now, though, for iTunes, as he might pick up the quadra kill. Yes, he does in the bot lane. The creep, can he get away? Yes, he can. The quadra kill goes over to the mid laner of ODK after a chaotic fight in the bot lane.
Chaotic is a really good way to describe it, but that was ultimately so good for Bagels. I didn't think it was going to be, after Christian managed to live for as long as he did. But this Gargoyle knows no boundaries on Summoner's Drift. Hide on Shade, though, he's got a boundary, and it's called Skirmishing Smite. Or not even Skirmishing Smite, it's called a Chilling... Wait, no, what just happened? Electrocute, is that what I saw? Electrocute, I think. That's the boundary. Anyway,
but I don't actually know what that was.
I'm gonna skip past that. But you know what? I think it actually was the end of the Moonfall there. Anyway, top lane though, Donald Trump getting a lot of work done on that turret. He's got the teleport now. Teleport advantage in favor of ODK if they want to fight over this dragon.
Bullet time almost available to do. It's gone.
Yeah, it's already dead. It's gone. A little bit unfortunate there.
unfortunate. Indeed, not able to continue the Dragon Sling, but like you said, really strong fight in the bot lane there for iTunes, picking up 4 kills, 6 and 2 now on the Galio, and kind of immediately transforming himself into the strong point of this team, able to put some purchases in as well. He's now only 400 gold behind Yo-Yo Bros, which gives you some perspective on how far behind they really were before that fight had begun, but he has completed his Mercury Treads and that Proto Belt as well. So definitely a pretty strong Gargoyle, as we might see that strength put to the test. He's going to get flashed on. Can he get the taunt? There's a knock up. The set ultimate coming through as well. Bullet time just whiffing here on the side. Izzy just trying to keep himself alive, down to half HP as well. Christian has just kind of run past him, ignoring the Gargoyle, but the Gargoyle is chopped down. That's the shutdown going over the Whirling Death as well. Going to proc, I should say, the Chrono Shift in the bot lane. Yeah, that ace coming back to life, but it might not be for very long. Here comes Kaipora as well. There's the GLP to try to slow him down. Is a supreme display of talent available? Not able to get him into the wall. Yeah, that ace able to get himself out in the background. Christian has picked up the kill onto Krios Vale. Once again, doing very well for himself, 7 and 2.
Very, very sloppy from iTunes. And we were quick to give him praise when he got that quad kill. He played that fight well, but that was honestly really, really silly. Dragon had already gone over to Bagels, had been down for a while. Hide on Shade was top side of the map. Donald Trump committed top lane. There was clearly no team plan from ODK to contest that dragon, and it had already been dead for several seconds. And then iTunes waltzes in, tries to clear the ward, and surprise, all of Bagels were there. They just took the dragon, of course they're there, and they collapse on him and they kill him. And not only do they kill him, but they kill Curious Vale and that ace who tried to rush to his rescue to help him, and they take bot lane turret. So just as we had that big swing earlier in favor of ODK, that pendulum has swung right back in favor of Bagels. And suddenly it's looking like a very scary game again. 6k gold ahead for Bagels right now. They're about 60 gold ahead in this game. They've got 2 turrets to none. They picked up that Infernal Dragon, so their scaling is there. And by the way, Death Cap picked up for Yo-Yo Bros.
Might find himself with the one needing that Death Cap. May have been aptly named. He's going to find himself in the Death Chamber. iTunes picking up that kill once again, trying to get a bit of redemption, but that kill looks like it will be traded over for the Herald, picked up by Bagels. And Sir Donald Trump might be a little bit too far out here. Blastquakes are going behind the tower. Looks like, just kidding. He's going to back himself off, as ODK was coming up to rescue Mr. President. And everybody backs off, but the Herald did go over.
Now ODK, they're looking topside though.
Party on the top.
All 5 members, a 5 versus 4. Yo-Yo Bros, of course, dead, not able to answer. ODK looking, trying, hoping to shove down this top lane turret, but quite a bit of wave control coming in from Christian. Yeah, that ace took so low.
Forward, going very low. One more axe coming through, able to get the Chrono Shift onto himself, but that is now gone for this fight. If we do see a real fight break out, Kaipora going through the supreme display of talent is not so supreme on this one, not able to land onto anybody as the disengage comes through for ODK. The Maokai ultimate not quite enough to find anybody caught out for too long, but the siege kind of continues as we've just kind of set up an NA ram here in the top lane.
Not gonna lie, them zillion bombs be hitting different. Putting in a lot of work on that champion right now, but here comes Yo-Yo Bros.
There is the engage as the ultimate coming through. The moonlight is hitting like a truck. The bullet time comes through. What a huge bullet time! And the bomb's coming out as well. It's 3 kills picked up for ODK. Can they kite back? 4 versus 2. The Gnar gonna get shut down. Sir Donald Trump taken out before he could go mega. Just a couple of seconds could have separated this from what it is with an ace here. As Kaipora actually looking for a bit of a re-engage, but in the end, 3 for 2 in the favor of ODK.
ODK? They win the fight, and there were so many resources used there. Bagels used the flash from Yo-Yo Bros, the flash from Christian. I think Blastquazar may have invested his flash as well. And Curious Vale still sitting on flash.
He's on a ward. He's on a ward,
on the flank, getting picked off potentially, looking for something here.
The bombs missed.
They did, but you know what? I'll forgive it because they've been putting in work so far. Honestly, the poke coming through from that ace has been really, really nice. Kaipora though.
Easy in the shop. Yeah, that is a couple of bombs could come through. Kaipora could just find himself out to dry. iTunes picks up the kill. Kaipora, what are you doing? The dragon's almost up as well. Kind of just goes for his doom. A little bit overeager on that one. He will be up in time for the dragon, so shouldn't be that big of a deal. But not quite what he was hoping for when he went over that wall.
Definitely not. And luckily for Bagels, the supreme display of talents and all of their team fighting ultimates will be available for this dragon. And Bagels are in the area. They have the vision control. They can potentially look to take this dragon and rush it down first if they want to. It is the first ocean dragon of the game, and we are going to be looking at an ocean soul this game. Potentially the most broken of the souls, especially as far as combat goes, right? Very, very hard to out sustain DPS and Ocean Soul. The amount of healing that ends up coming through is utterly ridiculous. But for right now, Bagels don't have that healing. They are forced to back off of the dragon as the rest of ODK managed to show up here, flanking position for iTunes, and it's actually Hide on Shade that starts up this dragon.
This dragon started from the back in the top lane. Sir Donald Trump did pick up that tower, and the teleport is coming through. Blue Castle is going to be on the flank here for Bagels. The teleport from Sir Donald Trump as well is coming through. Trios Vale going to get ulted by Set back into the middle of his team. Can he get himself to safety? He does have the flash. Flash is out. iTunes now on a rampage as he has picked up last place there. The bullet time is still available in the back. There's a heroic entrance to try to get himself to safety. iTunes able to get out. Yo-Yo Bros forced to retreat as well. Blue Castle now taking up for his team. Does have the flash. There is a Gnar into the wall, and K4 goes down. Blue Castle is sure to follow. Christian going to be taken out in the backline by Sir Donald Trump. There is the shield onto Yo-Yo Bros from himself, and he picks up the kill onto Sir Donald Trump. But in the end, another strong fight, 4 for 2 for ODK as they fight back in this game and take the third dragon.
And you know what? Bagels definitely looking sloppier so far this game, but gotta hand it to ODK. That was a well-played team fight. The structure was there despite the teleport from Blue Castle into the backline. I especially want to give so much credit to how Curious Vale positioned in that fight, stayed very safe on the backline of that fight and just waiting for the right time to re-engage. The teleport came through from Trump, the flank from Hide on Shade, and then all of a sudden Bagels were just collapsed on and they didn't know how to deal with it. And now second dragon of the game going over to ODK. The gold gap between these teams has narrowed to only 3,000. And I think that, honestly, at this point, given just the team compositions, I think that ODK are probably favored to win this game. They have been playing around the team comps well, and I think when we get to these mid to late game team fights, these are the fights that ODK's team composition is meant to fight, is good at fighting. If the Gnar bar is there, if the flanks are there, if the hero's entrance is available for iTunes, if Hide on Shade is waiting in the shade, waiting in the fog of war to make something happen, if the Chrono Shift is available, if Curious Vale is in the backline, all these things coming together are absolutely huge. Yo-Yo Bros, though, he's pretty huge himself, looking to get aggressive bot lane. He's got the Death Cap, he's got the Proto Belt. He's close to his Zanyas as well. Stopwatch picked up. And the side lane pressure right now is definitely in favor of Bagels. Yeah, top lane, Blue Castle, whacking away at minions, whacking away at turrets. Bot lane as well. Yo-Yo Bro is going to be setting up some pressure pretty soon. While mid lane, it's ODK with the NA Ram trying and so far failing to break open this mid lane turret.
Absolutely. Christian, though, kind of an aspect of Draven, he's kind of forced to put himself out of position sometimes to catch those axes, maybe just waiting for one of those axes to go awry before they're able to engage, but not able to find it. The tower has gone down in the top lane. Blue Castle able to pick that one up for himself. Yo-Yo Bros in the bot as well. So a little bit of farm conceded by ODK in order to try to take down that mid tower, which they were not able to do. Yo-Yo Bros trading it with iTunes here in the bot, as the teams kind of just take a reset here and take stock of what they want to do next.
Now, the one important thing to keep in mind if you are Bagels is they are certainly, even at this point, not behind, right? They got the gold, so much gold on Christian. He's still a 9-3 Draven. Also, look at the CS gaps between almost everybody. Top lane, it's only about 15 CS for Blue Castle, but mid lane, 170 on Yo-Yo Bros to 116 on iTunes. That's a 10 kill Galio, 10 kills, and he's still behind 500 gold to Yo-Yo Bros, who has 7. So, yeah, I mean, it's, you know, the gold gap is, the CS difference is going to start materializing. And I think the last 5 minutes or the last 3 minutes where you saw that side lane split push threaten the pressure that Bagels just brought, I think that is one of their strengths. They want to play on the side lane, send Yo-Yo Bros to a side lane, have Capora threaten the roam, and these are the tools that Bagels can bring to win the map and win the fight, because there's not a lot that ODK can do to answer that presence. You saw just then, a few seconds ago, all of ODK funneled mid lane, even funneled mid lane. They didn't have the siege to take that mid lane turret, and meanwhile, Blue Castle and Yo-Yo Bros just hitting away at those side lane turrets. The macro here, the side lane pressure, the unmatched pressure of Yo-Yo Bros that is probably the key, the best way for Bagels to break open what's left of this game.
Absolutely, and they are continuing it here. Once again, like you said, Yo-Yo Bros in the bot, Blue Castle in the top. Teleports will be available for these top laners in probably just a couple of minutes. Around when that dragon spawns seems to be how this has ended up. Yo-Yo Bros could find himself caught out. He may have to expend the flash to get himself out of the situation. We'll see if he is able to even do so. Does expend that flash, but he's going to get taunted up and taken out straight away. iTunes has picked up the kill onto Diana. I think he'll be up in time for the dragon. Looks like he should be, but still not kills you want to be giving away in the side lane for nothing else gained.
How do you play around a split push, Carl? You pick the split pusher, or you force on the people that aren't split pushing. But either way, the pick works. ODK, they make the pick. They find Yo-Yo Bros, who, by the way, you mentioned it. He used his flash. That is huge. I think you don't flash there, you die, you let yourself die. Yo-Yo Bros not having flash makes it so much harder to get to the back line. And now Bagels, or not Bagels, ODK, they feel empowered. The strongest member of Bagels is dead. They move to this Baron. They started up. It's a 5 versus 4.
Definitely a power move here. If you want to get back into the game, you have to end up taking down the Baron Nashor. There is the engage attempted. Nature's Grasp has come through from Blue Castle to try to get him off this Baron. Kaipora as well. The Baron has been stopped down to 4,000 HP, and it does get boosted back up. Blue Castle able to flash out of the engage from the Gnar. The Gnar not able to get anybody into the wall, but Last Player has gone back forward. There's the set ult. Is he going to be able to get the Haymaker? Yes, he is with the ultimate from that Ace, able to cancel that one out. Turn it back time to revive his teammates. Everybody is back alive except for Blast Quasar, who did give his life. Hot on Shade trying to go after Kaipora, and there's the heroic entrance as well going on to him. He's going to find himself going very low back into the stealth, but he is going to be taken down. The Ace now on a killing spree. The shutdown though from Christian doing a ton of damage to this team, but the healing Krios Veil very low. There's the stopwatch as well from Yo-Yo Bros, going to get hit by the double bombs, but he's not going to be taken out. That Ace walking himself off. Krios Veil did get out, but in the end, a 3 for 2 in favor of Bagels.
Yeah, ODK, they get a little too ahead of themselves. They start up the Baron, they take a lot of damage, but honestly, I think if the team fight had come through for them, if there weren't some minor mechanical misplays, probably could have won the team fight and turned back to the Baron. But at the end of the day, Bagels end up winning the fight. They win the Dragon. It wasn't just the Baron at stake, the Dragon, of course. And so now, both teams sitting at 2 dragons, neither team anywhere close to a Dragon Soul at this point. We're potentially a long ways away from the end of this game. I do think the longer this game goes, the better off ODK are. Their composition scales pretty well, especially when you put it up against a bunch of assassins and almost a full AD team. So, you know, there's good signs here for ODK. But Bagels, they prove they can definitely still win fights. They prove that Draven, Christian, does a ton of damage, especially with the Edge of Night that he's got picked up. A little bit of lethality for the books. And Kaipora as well, right? There's so much pick from this team. So much potential for ODK to just get their mojo jumped on if they step out of line just a little bit too much.
Absolutely. Christian, I believe, has the money now in inventory for what I would assume to be a Phantom Dancer, coming through for a little bit more survivability on top of the shields that he already has. This tower should go down. Looks like they will just kind of give that one up. But Christian, if he's able to get a recall in, should be able to get that. We can see the damage he does already. Bullet time actually expended here. Try to get him off the tower. Might actually end up seeing a fight here. Blue Castle is in the side lane. Not sure you want to fight this. He's going to use the teleport in, but he's not in a flank position. And kind of just a wasted teleport here for Blue Castle. Not able to find the fight.
That's good. That's good for ODK fans. Got the only teleport out of Bay team or Bagels. So now no teleport in play for Bagels. The Baron is up, and Bagels, they say screw it. We're just gonna start it up. We know we don't have teleport, so we can't wait. Yeah, hide on Shade recalling. I don't think they're actually aware of that, but they know that they don't have TP advantage anymore. But they do have Blue Castle here now, so they're starting up the Baron. They have vision control. iTunes is walking up to check the pit, but he's so late. The Baron's almost dead.
The AD carry's not here. Nature's Grasp has come across for a bit of zoning. You'd have to think the Baron gonna just be going over for free. It has been picked up by the red team. Blast Blades are taking up so much damage in the front line. The taunt not gonna land onto anybody. The shutdown goes on to get that Ace without the ultimate coming through. No Zillion ultimate in this team, but what a great Gnar in the backline though. Sir Donald Trump going huge in this fight. The supreme display of talent comes across as well. Christian trying to keep himself alive. Krios Veil on a killing spree. The double kill did go over for Yo-Yo Bros as Christian able to survive that fight. Blue Castle picks up the kill onto iTunes. The Baron and a 4 for 2 team fight goes over in favor of Bagels.
Is that the end of the game? I don't think so. It might be close. But right now, Obsidian DeathKnights almost nearly wiped 4 for 2. Yo-Yo Bros, Christian, and Blue Castle guiding these Baron buffed minions into the base of ODK. 10, 15, 20-second death timers. 4 members of ODK, but for now, Yo-Yo Bros, Blue Castle, Christian gonna back off. Gonna say, hey, we can chill. We got Baron buff. We got the mid lane inhibitor. We're gonna play to our strengths. Don't get too greedy. Play a little bit slower. And Bagels now. Bagels on the losing end, or on the winning end of a big fight, a big gold swing.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great Gnar ultimate, though. I do want to highlight from Sir Donald Trump, able to get 3 key members into the wall, and there was just no bullet time there to follow up from Krios Vale. A little bit late to that team fight, I do believe. Was in the bot lane when the Baron got started up. Not able to quite get the wombo combo they were looking for. Not a great Galio ultimate. And yeah, that ace did get blown up immediately. So we were not able to see the revive coming through. The chrono shift from him was not in that team fight. And in a fight that was, you know, at the end, pretty close. 4 for 2, but the member's not entirely healthy on the side of Bagels. And you have to think, you know, one more key ultimate in place, one more member being revived could have made the difference in these fights. And we've seen, you know, all throughout the day, all throughout the game, I should say, that these fights have been very, very close between either team. And we may see another one. Hide on Shade. We're definitely seeing a fight, not terribly close. In that instance, Hide on Shade kind of just taken out. Maybe thought he had more range.
I want to know what exactly the plan was there.
Maybe thought his flash was up. I'm not sure, but there's a Banshee anyway on Christian, so not too sure about that.
That was definitely questionable. The flank coming through from Blast Quasar. ODK trying to hold onto this turret. Top lane too.
This is just a
Blue Castle putting so much work in to this top lane turret. And look at the side lane. Donald Trump has no HP left.
He pops the stopwatch, but you have to think he's going to be going down. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, Kaipora picks up the 1 kill. Christian just getting out of the tower. Yo-Yo Bros, nice stopwatch to keep himself alive here under the tower. Christian now unstoppable. There's the resurrection, the supreme display of talent. Not quite where he was hoping for. Not able to pick up the kill on that ace, but it is the 2 carries and the top laner taken out for ODK. We have a 5 versus 2 now on the map. Blue Castle wreaking havoc here in the mid lane. He's saying, I don't even care about these turrets. I'll tank them up all day. As he's moving onto the turret, this could look to be your game-ending push. There's a flash from Blast Quasar. Tries to get the kill on to Hide on Shade, as yeah, that ace is going to be taken out immediately. The set ultimate comes through as well. Hide on Shade taken out immediately. The second Nexus Tower goes down, and it's going to be Bagels in a much more competitive game, taking the series 2-0 over Obsidian DeathKnights.
Yeah, and okay, the last 3 minutes of the game, honestly, almost okay. I'm not gonna Hide on Shade. What were you thinking? Why would you go in there? I don't understand. I also don't understand why Curious Vale was on the bot half of the map, ridiculously far away from Baron, and that Obsidian DeathKnights were just sort of not on the same page about defending that Baron. But overall, like you said, that was a crazy more competitive game. Although, if I'm being honest, I don't feel like it's because ODK did that much better. It felt like there was a lot of disrespect coming through from Bagels. They were making some careless plays, stepping up too far, getting punished for it. And it was good on ODK to sort of realize the mistakes of Bagels and take advantage of those mistakes and punish. But again, Bagels, they almost lost this game. It was very close. At the end of the game, though, 13k gold lead. That Baron really did seal the deal. The split push from Blue Castle was pretty crazy, right? Normally a Maokai, you don't think of as being like a massive split pushing monster. He is a massive split pushing monster if he's got 2 Baron buffed cannon minion waves. That'll definitely change the equation a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also want to shout out the macro play from Bagels in this game. We saw, you know, a nice 1-3-1 coming through with the Baron. Even before the Baron had come through, a lot of nice rotations and just very clean macro. They noticed that Krios Vale was in the bot lane, Hide on Shade. They may have seen him recalling as well, just starting up the Baron immediately, forcing that fight, an odd number fight at least at the start, able to blow up the support, take away that revive ultimate from Zillion, and really just give themselves advantages, numbers advantages in the fights just for a little while. They're able to, you know, be a couple of seconds ahead of the curve essentially, and that's allowing them to pick up team fight wins that maybe they wouldn't have if it was a straight 5v5. So I think really strong macro play from Bagels in this game, and you know, throughout this series, able to, you know, they did throw a few dragons away at the start of the game, but as far as like rotations and champions being in the right place at the right time, very well done.
I want to give a shout out to Christian too, especially for that last Baron team fight. Before the Baron ended up, or after the Baron ended up being picked up for for Bagels, Christian did such a good job of sort of kiting around the edge of the team fight, and that was something that he had been struggling with a little bit earlier on. You know, typically, I feel like in most of the fights that Bagels lost, it was because Christian got caught out relatively early on, and he stayed safe, he stayed alive, he danced just far enough back away from iTunes, away from Hide on Shade, that he managed to stay alive and get a ton of DPS out, putting a ton of work in the back end of that fight, and he played that last fight very, very well.
Absolutely, very well done by Christian throughout the series. That Xayah game also quite a pop-off for himself, and a really nice bot lane play, I thought, by the bot lane of Bagels. Christian and Blastquaze are doing very well for themselves, able to push any advantage.
Those hex flashes,
very strong hex flashes. Maybe a few times a little bit over aggressive, especially in this game. Didn't quite have the same power that they had as Xayah Khan to just kind of like one-shot everybody. On the Draven set requires a little bit more setup, but still very well played bot lane, able to get huge advantages for themselves in each game, which just gives their team a lot of tempo, gives them a lot of pressure, and kind of opens up the team to kind of play around whatever. They don't need help. They don't need to call Kaipora down there. He's able to focus on, you know, other lanes that might need help, able to go for objectives, and that really helped the team out as well.
Yeah, and quick shout out to Blue Castle too. I thought he did it really, really well, especially winning that 1v1 at the end of the game, despite Trump having a Thornmail Black Cleaver. Okay, I think that about wraps it up. We've probably rambled on long enough. It's been a little bit of a late night. This was a late series, but congratulations to Bagels picking up this win 2-0. Looked like it might go to a game 3 for a split second, but it didn't quite end up happening. Obsidian DeathKnights not quite able to claw their way back into this series, but that being said, thank you all so much for watching, for coming out, for playing, for supporting us, for being here. We really, really appreciate it. I, of course, am Baymax, and my friend, the other caster, he has been Jarl Carl, and we do what we can. So reach out to us, let us know how we do. We appreciate you typing in chat, you know, whatever's going on, talking about the game, talking about us, reaching out on Discord as well. We have a YouTube channel, website, Discord server. All that stuff is awesome. You should go check it out. Most of you probably in the Discord server, and you can talk to us there and have a great time. So it's super fun. Everyone check it out. That being said, I'm going to wrap it up and finally sign us out, because good night, everybody. It's been fun.